Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining. We have some exciting news to share regarding the latest release of Backup Exec. Joining us today is Jason Von Everstein, Lead Product Manager for Backup Exec, and Robert Callaghan from Wasabi Technologies. We have a new version of BE with enhancements to bolster your ransomware protection. In a moment, Jason is going to walk us through some of the top challenges that we see our customers face today, a high-level overview of the product so that those of you that may not be familiar can become familiar with Backup Exec, and then specifically what's included in this most recent release. And then finally, Rob from Wasabi will discuss integrated cloud functionality. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Over to you, Jason.
Thanks, Dylan. Part of my role here as a PM is to understand the challenges that our customers and partners face every day. I like to keep things simple. It's kind of a theme here with me. So I like to lump these challenges really into three buckets. The first is around the need to protect everything. Let's face it, over the years, your environment has become more and more complex, that new applications being deployed every day, and data is moving from on-prem to a mix of cloud and on-prem. All this adds to the complexity of the daily management of your data. From a backup standpoint, we have to keep things simple regardless of how complex your environment becomes. Next is ransomware. 3 to 4 years ago, this was not on the top of everyone's mind, let's face it. Fast forward to today, and everyone knows someone or some company that has been a target for ransomware. For us, it's about more than backup and recovery. We have to ensure that our data is safeguarded at all times. We need to make sure the backup copies remain clean, no matter where they live, no matter how old they are. And again, we need to make sure from a recovery standpoint that we provide the tools for our customers to recover, regardless of their recovery needs, whether it's a single file or a complete data center. The last bucket kind of ties everything together. And as your data grows, as your applications become more decentralized from your on-premise data center, the complexity of how you're going to manage this environment is sure to grow. So we need to keep the manager or the backup solution extremely simple to use, regardless of how complex the underlying environment becomes. So Backup Exec is that one solution that provides streamlined data protection and visibility across your entire environment, whether that's virtual, physical, or cloud. It is one solution as opposed to 4 or 5 that some of our competitors seem to need in order to protect the same amount of resources. But again, it's the flexibility that we give our customers within that single pane of glass that allows you to really shine with the product. So let's dive a little bit and break down, Backup Exec as we see it. So as we break down the wheel, is what we like to call it, you can see from an OS standpoint, we support the major vendors that you run today, whether that's Windows or Linux or Unix, right? From a virtual machine standpoint, we support VMware, we support Hyper-V, and all the technology that comes along with it, like agentless backups or instant recovery or even P2V. We support a huge range of both on-premise applications like Exchange and SQL and Oracle, but also cloud apps like M365, including support for SharePoint, Teams, Exchange Online, and OneDrive. We support a huge range of devices, allowing you to store your backups wherever you want, whether this is local disk, whether this is tape, or even third-party deduplication appliances. As we start to move out to the cloud, we support the cloud as well, whether that's public cloud like AWS or Azure, all the way to private clouds using our S3 compatible connectors, right? We've got very special relationships with a lot of our, what I will say, third-party S3 compatible cloud vendors, and we're able to support some of their underlying technology. A great example of this is with Wasabi. You'll hear from Rob here shortly about Wasabi, but we've integrated with Wasabi's object lock so our customers can take advantage of really hardening their repositories by using object lock that's built into Wasabi and Backup Exec. We help our customers recover from any type of data loss, no matter how big or small. Lastly, regardless of the size of your environment, whether it's a single site or multiple sites scattered across the country, Backup Exec allows you to manage that solution with a single pane of glass, regardless of how many Backup Exec servers that you have deployed in your environment. But again, don't take my word for it. Over the last couple of years, our customers have been speaking out, right? This just shows you, all of our G2 badges that we've earned over the years. These are awards that our customers give to us directly, right? These are not pay-to-play awards. Our customers go out onto the G2 site and they write honest reviews of the product. So I encourage everybody to go out there and read the reviews, comment on reviews. If you are an existing customer, go give us a review. Good or bad, let us know your experiences with Backup Exec, and we want you to tell our customers and everybody else what your experiences are with the product. I also like to include this quote in here because we did get a PC Pro magazine recently awarded us an A-list award, and they did a review of BE. And this just really goes to talk to the simplicity of the management of Backup Exec, right? Again, this was completely unsolicited from a review standpoint, but what stood out for the reviewer was the simplistic approach to everything that we do. So when it comes to the overall value that Backup Exec brings, again, I like to lump everything into one of these three buckets. I said earlier, I like to keep things simple. So we're doing the same thing here. So first, our simple approach to the complexity that is data protection. So like I said before, Backup Exec is truly a single unified solution. There's no add-ons that are needed. There's no bolt-ons. There's no third-party products. Everything is done with a single product and a single license. Second is our ability to not only secure our own data, meaning our Backup Exec infrastructure, but also the data that we store for our customers. So the moment data enters our ecosystem, it's stored on our 256-bit encrypted disks. We use multi-factor authentication. We can take advantage of things like object lock and worm devices. So we'll do everything in our power to ensure data cannot be written or modified once it's entered our ecosystem. Lastly, it's the flexibility really when it comes to recover. With BE, you really can recover any type of data that you want that we've protected to any location, however you want to do it. And what I mean by that is with Backup Exec, you literally can restore things down to an email message or a table level message within a database, all the way to a full disaster recovery of your entire data center. And that restore experience within Backup Exec is going to be the same across the board, meaning it's still super simple, regardless of whether you're restoring a single file or doing a complete bare metal disaster recovery. So I know we teased this in the beginning, but let's dive right into it. Let's talk into what's new in this latest release of Backup Exec, because we are super excited about the things that we're bringing to market. So again, there's a lot of different features within this release, but I want to highlight the big three features that we are bringing to market. The first feature is called malware detection. With this feature, you'll be able to take your backup images and scan those backup images at either backup time or restore time to ensure that they're malware free before that data gets moved into production. So with this release, we'll support Microsoft Defender, but just note as we move forward, we will add our support for other security vendors or scan engines as we release further products. So again, this does go beyond just backup and recovery of data for our customers, and we're really trying to ensure that data is malware free at recovery time. The second feature, and by far the most requested feature ever for Backup Exec, is role-based access. So with role-based access, our customers, will now be able to delegate control over your day-to-day management tasks of Backup Exec. For smaller environments, if you're a one-person shop, role-based access is probably not something that you'll utilize. But again, if you're a bigger shop or you have multiple people that manage your infrastructure, this will give you the ability to really delegate control over your entire data protection environment to multiple people within your organization. Again, allowing you to have better control over who has access to your important and critical business critical data. Lastly, the third bucket is really around performance. With every release, we like to do a few things within the release that will increase the amount of data that we can back up within the backup window. So with this release, we've done a couple of things. The first one is around enhancing our deduplication engine. So we've made some enhancements around deduplication that's really increased our performance when it comes to direct to cloud backups. So think about your jobs that target cloud repositories directly. Those backup jobs will run anywhere between 30 to 50% faster. We've also added a feature for our virtual backups. We've always been able to do simultaneous VM backups, but with this release, we'll now do simultaneous VMDK backups. What this means, it allows us to process VMDKs that belong to a VM simultaneously, really reducing the backup window or reducing the time needed to complete all of your backups each night. So again, this was just a quick highlight of the features. Keep in mind, there's a ton of other features within the product. I encourage everybody to go download the trial, go take a look at the documentation that will walk you through all the great features that the team has put in this release. And with that said, I'm going to hand it over to Rob to talk about all the things that Wasabi has to offer. Take it away, Rob.
Thank you, Jason. It's exciting to see how Backup Exec continues to also raise the cybersecurity bar while adding exciting new features for your customers. Wasabi values its partnership with Backup Exec, and I'm thrilled to be on this webinar with you to share some of our new features that complement yours. But first, one of the questions that gets asked of us is, what is Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage? Wasabi offers optimal price, high performance, and resilient protection for object storage. When I talk about price, we're up to 80% less than traditional hyperscalers. We'll show you on a slide in a minute, and where you can look at the calculator to figure it out for yourself. But when you start layering in things like all the different API calls, the egress fees and stuff, cloud storage can get very expensive. The great thing with Wasabi is there is no egress charge. It's free, and there's no API call charge. So you save a lot of money. Predictability, where you know the performance you're going to get, and you can count on it as you restore data, pull things down. And it's complemented by the straightforward pricing model that helps you not be surprised by unexpected expenses. And then finally, protection. We have enterprise-grade physical security, data security, and account security. As I like to say, it helps you keep your job secure while you're doing this. But the game-changing pricing, I think, is something that your customers will appreciate learning about. We have a calculator that you can access at wasabi.com, but when you start looking at our flat pricing for actually storing your data, and then look at the charges that the hyperscalers will tack on, you can see if you stored a petabyte of data for 1 year and do about 20% egress, the things that you do if you want to pull a copy for disaster recovery, pull a copy to test your disaster recovery, or just find a known good copy after one of your malware scanners found out that you had been infected, you could be spending upwards of $500,000 a year, whereas with Wasabi, you're less than $100,000. So that other 400 plus thousand comes out of somewhere, comes out of your budget. Does it mean you have to, not get the next upgrade on something, not be able to buy additional services, not give raises? There's a lot of things that can impact you when you have those surprise costs. So with Wasabi, we have these great features, including the egress and API calls not being charged for. We have no complex storage tiers, so you don't have to worry about when you are storing data, what tier to put it in. It's all in the same tier. And you can make it immutable using object lock so that what was copied there is what's going to be there when you pull it back. And we'll talk about some additional security features that we've just added on to even protect the account beyond the data. So Wasabi plus Veritas is a great combination, a great partnership of offering simple and secure unified data protection solution, where you're utilizing your technology to make sure that you're grabbing all of the data, no matter where it's stored, what application it's on, that you're making it ransomware resilient by leveraging our object lock technology, S3 object lock technology that we have embedded. And then things like MUA, which we'll talk about, where you can actually further protect the account and getting that for enhanced security. And since with the predictable pricing and licensing model on both sides, people know what their expense is going to be. It's not going to be surprised at the end of the month, end of the year. And it's, as I like to say, it's CFO friendly. And it's flexible and scalable. As you need more storage, you pay for more storage. You don't have to go and basically buy out a lot of on-prem storage that you may not utilize correctly. So you're paying for stuff you don't need. With us, with the pay-go, for example, as you go, you pay for what you need. And so when we look at Veritas with Wasabi, you see that the data protection solution that is certified with object lock for immutability, it's ransomware resilient with combined features as our malware scanning and MUA. MUA stands for multi-user authorization or authentication. And basically it is, as I'll show on a slide, the ability to designate multiple people that have to all agree before destructive actions like deleting an account or bucket happen. It is a unified solution no matter you're backing up virtual environments, physical environments, or even a cloud environment, because a lot of times we'll talk about the fact that you want a 3-2-1, and as I like to call a one kind of backup scenario where you're backing up, taking your data and making 3 copies, your primary copy and 2 backups. You're doing it on multiple types of media, 2 types of media minimum, 1 in the cloud we recommend, and then finally doing it in such a way that that copy is air-gapped or immutable. And you support that, we support that. So customers can feel assured that if they do need to pull that data back, it is there, it is protected, and it's just like they left it. And you can do an archive for on-premise, but you can also take it to tape and move that tape copy to cloud, because when it's in the cloud, it's a lot more cost-effective to be able to pull it back. It's a lot faster than, let's say, traditional tape. And with the immutability and things like that, you're adding that additional layer of protection. And you can use it to store what's one of the most popular things, Microsoft 365. Because as we've learned from Microsoft, is they will protect the applications to make sure they come back up. But your data is a shared responsibility model, meaning that you are required to actually back that up and protect it. And you don't want to be the person that has to tell your executive that they can't get the data back from their documents because Microsoft didn't protect it. You want to take proactive measures, utilizing Backup Exec to do that and storing it on Wasabi and making it immutable. And finally, one of the things I'm really excited about is Backup Exec's new feature on RBAC, Role-Based Access Control, where they have taken and allowed you as a user to create different levels of access based on your needs. And I think that complements perfectly with Wasabi's new MUA, multi-user authentication, where you can designate additional security contacts that have to all approve before any kind of destructive activity happens. If you look to the right here, you'll see that by basically designating these security contacts, you can say that if someone wants to delete an account or a bucket, they all have to approve or it doesn't happen. And the value of that is that with cyber criminals and cyber attacks, is that if they can't get at the data because it's immutable or if it's encrypted, the next thing to do is go after the account, because they can delete the account. They in fact can delete the underlying data. And with MUA, you have this added level of security, this security like it's defense in depth, that allows you to further protect it from those kind of destructive actions by requiring multiple people that you designate to all approve it. And with the role-based security and delegate access that Veritas and Backup Exec just added, it's a game changer where you can designate what levels of things that any individual user can do so that you're not giving too much power to someone that doesn't need it, and also making yourself vulnerable to a cyber attack in case that they happen to compromise those credentials, and then they go on into that account and do things that they shouldn't have access to. I recently just talked to a CISO, and he talked about one of the challenges that they faced was that too many people had too many privileges. And by reducing those privileges, you could, in fact, further protect your environment. But one of the challenges was going back and looking at everybody's privilege and understanding, do they need that or not? So having that ability to restrict backup credentials helps you both minimize phishing. It adds a layer of protection that others don't have. And then you complement that with Wasabi's multi-user authentication. You have a very secure, very robust, and very hard to compromise solution for your backup data. And with that, we'll go to Dylan. Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks, Rob. So where can you go to learn more? Right now, we have a way for you to try both Backup Exec and Wasabi Cloud Technologies using the link that's displayed here. In addition, we have web pages where you can learn additional information on both product offerings. If you haven't already joined our customer and partner engagement program, consider doing so using the link that's displayed here. Through this program, you can talk directly with our product teams, gain early access to products and features before they are released to the market, provide feedback via one-on-one interviews and surveys, and participate in usability testing and user experience research. It's a great program, and we highly advise that you consider joining. And finally, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at ask.be@veritas.com. That's ask.be@veritas.com, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much for your time and attention today.
There's a reason over 45,000 small and mid-sized businesses trust Backup Exec to protect their data. It's because we never stop improving, and we always make it easy. That's what it means to be simple. Start your free trial of Backup Exec today.